Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, we are so close to hitting 5k, so please share this video with your friends and family. Hopefully we hit 5k before the next video. But what a week this has been. The sprint weekends in general are always crazy because 4 out of the 5 sessions are important to the championship. And on top of that, these races in American continent are just weird in terms of timings. So the thing is, on Sunday I had to get up and go to church at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. So I watched the sprint on Saturday night, and then I had some coffee so I can watch the qualifying at 1:30 a.m. till I had barely any sleep. Then I slept through the afternoon, and thank God for the FIA moving the race 3 hours early. Speaking of rains and having the race 3 hours early, I don't know why the FIA panicked so much and preponed the race, because it did not rain during the race. There was a bit of talk on the radio about rains, but nothing happened. And then after the race also it did not rain. I went and checked the data. So hey, it's good for us. We all got to see a really spectacular race. Easily the best race of the season so far. Franklin Emmanuel says we used to look forward to wet races. Now we just wait for the weather to subdue. Yeah, that is unfortunate. But in FIA's defense, this race wasn't preponed because of rain. It was supposed to be a thunderstorm. That's what they were worried about. They were worried about lightning strikes in specific. But again, it all makes no sense for us because in the end of the day, it did not rain. So the only consolidation is that we still got a decent race. This race is the first race after the break, and pretty much every team had brought upgrades. I have made an entirely separate video about upgrades, so do check it for the detailed explanations on the upgrades and who did good and who did bad, all of that in that video. After Q3, we can in a way identify the top 5 fastest cars or fastest teams in my opinion. In no specific order, we have Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari and Alpine in Q3, and double Q3 for Alpine. That is amazing. Unfortunately for Pierre Gasly, he could have been in the points. He could have continued his record of being in points throughout all the races, but if not for that crazy car flip, man. But thank God he is safe. We also had an early safety car in the race, which made the race a lot more exciting from the start. We also need to talk about the other car that crashed, which is the second Red Bull. Now, the second driver curse is back, or let me rephrase it, the second driver curse never left. See, as long as Max is there in the Red Bull, the other driver is almost always going to struggle. After sprint qualifying, Hadja was like flabbergasted. He had no clue why he was so much lower than Max. Max also put the car on P2 in the main qualifying, where Hadja was in P9. Even though he got disqualified, there is one additional aspect of the second driver curse, and it is not just about the speed, it's also the pressure that puts on the driver. I remember Perez taking so many risks and spinning so much in the opening few laps and even during restarts because he was just desperate to get past, because he was so far behind Max. This pressure, I think, also has gotten on to Isaac Hadjar. His crash was completely his fault. He was just doing an unnecessary move under pressure. He started from the pit lane and he was trying to catch up, so understandable why he was all agitated and he was trying to make that move. Even after he crashed, his expressions in the car was just really sad to watch because he was taking too much pressure on himself, and that is exactly the other half of the Red Bull curse. One is you're not able to meet match in terms of expectations. Secondly, that adds more pressure, which piles on even more pressure, and then you do mistakes like this, and it's going to cost you even more in the next few races, because now you're trying not only to catch Max but catch Max without making any mistakes and without taking any risks, and you will end up exactly like Yuki Tsunoda, so far behind Max, right? So yeah, the second driver curse never left Red Bull, it looks like. Speaking of Max Verstappen, he almost bought in a safety car, to be honest. Okay, that 360 was super impressive. Okay, he managed to spin the car, did not hit any walls, and he kept the car going, did not get stalled, and he just managed to stay in the top 10 weirdly. He dropped from P2 to P10, slowly started climbing back to P8 by lap 5, but then obviously there was a safety car, so Red Bull gambled on the hard tires. Basically, it was a huge gamble. One of the most asked questions today was if Max would have won the race if he hadn't spun. I'm not sure about winning the race, but he may have been on the podium. But I do want to say that the Mercedes power unit race pace is unbelievable. So there's a chance that he may have been on a podium if there was no first lap incident. Max was also on 50 lap old tires. He did his best. his car did show some good pace, but again, it's very hard to tell from this race. Maybe in the next few races we can see if the Red Bull PU is on par with the others on race pace. I also liked how Sainz complained after Max overtook him back. He tried to overtake, but Max dive bombed him. Yes, that's what racing Max Verstappen is like. One other most asked question is if Red Bull is back. See, overall, I do believe Red Bull have brought in great upgrades in the right direction, but I'm not sure if they are enough to get them to be better than Mercedes or McLaren yet. We have to wait and see if that happens. Dheeraj Srivatsa asks if Max deserved the driver of the day. DOTD, in my opinion, is a popularity competition. Earlier, it used to be Lewis. Now it is mainstream to be a Max fan. So yeah, naturally, when he does something remotely interesting, he will get all the votes. I do think it is impressive that he recovered so well, but again, Kimi drove an exceptional race. The McLarens also got a double podium after not qualifying in the top 3. Williams double points. So there were other impressive things happening in the race. It's just that it's always hard to tell because it's a popularity vote. But if anything, Max is probably the guy who likes the driver of the day awards the least. So yeah, we can kind of ignore the driver of the day award. Now this person, I'm not sure how to pronounce the handle. He asked thoughts on the Liam Pierre incident. It was not Liam's fault. Liam lost the gearbox, or at least as per Liam, he lost the gearbox much before and his car slipped into neutral. He couldn't do anything, so he couldn't avoid Gasly as his car was also understeering while turning, so he went and crashed. It is a racing incident. It's always scary when the car flips, but thank God Pierre is okay. From Pierre's point of view, he said it could have been avoided. Pierre now has missed his chance to be the only driver to have scored points in all the races, so yeah, sad for Pierre Gasly. But Colapinto on the other hand had an amazing recovery race. I don't even want to call it recovery. He was in the top 10 and he managed to get his career high position. So yeah, Alpine had pace. It's just sad that Pierre had to crash. Haran D. Stark asked why only few teams pitted in the yellow flag. So the timing of the safety car was a little too early. Miami has always been a one-stop race. So for a one-stop race, everyone else has started on mediums, which means they have to change to a hard tire. There is a rule that says every driver must at least use 2 tire compounds. So Max was an exception in the top 10 because he has already ruined his race with that spin. So Red Bull effectively gambled, which was like a low risk, high reward kind of a thing. If Max did well in the hard tires, yes, he would have gained some more position. So it was purely a gamble from Red Bull. For others, it just meant the cars were all bunched up together and they could have had another rolling race start. So yeah, that's the reason why not everyone pitted, at least in the top 10, not everyone pitted in the safety car and only Max pitted. Charged _ asks why McLarens are generally very successful in Miami. I think it is more Lando who's been really successful. I think it's also a confidence thing. See, Lando has gotten his first race victory here. And that was also luck, if you remember, the famous if my mum had balls, he'd be my dad quote from Max. It was kind of luck that Lando won that race. He went on to win again last year. Again, McLarens have had a championship winning car. So it is mainly a confidence thing. Lando's confidence is really high. On the other hand, even though Kimi and Mercedes won, Russell was very underconfident. He even mentioned in an interview that it was not his favorite tracks or it was not his strong tracks. So this is more on the driver's confidence than the track suiting a particular team. Now let's also address the elephant in the room or the horse in the stable or whatever the expression is. Ferrari. Ferrari's company motto is "We are the competition." I don't know what to read into that. One of Enzo Ferrari's favorite quote is "The best Ferrari ever built is always the next one." Yeah, it is always the next year that is the year of the Ferrari. Yeah, we should wait for next year, I guess. So, jokes aside, see, Ferrari did bring upgrades and they seem to be broadly in the right direction. But there is a problem with Ferrari. Let me share this loud and clear, right? Ferrari can do everything well at one point in time, but almost never all of it together. There is always somebody or something being fumbled. See, when the drivers are doing good on track, they fumble the strategy. When the strategy is solid, the car has issues. When the drivers and the cars are good, they get taken out in a crash or sometimes even get double disqualified. Ferrari is a team that hasn't finished below the top 4 in constructors for a while now. The standards that we as Formula One fans have set up for Ferrari are really high. It has always been World Championship or nothing else. So let's keep all of that in mind when we talk about upgrades. So in this race, the upgrades could have been in the right direction. We can't tell for sure. But in the last few races, we did not have McLaren as a strong contender. Now they have showed up. Red Bull also seemed to have turned up. So the gap that these upgrades were meant to close just got wider. So we also never got to see the proper race pace of the upgrades because Lewis got hit in lap 1, damaged the car and was limping through the race. Leclerc lost his podium spot with a botched pit stop and then that sad spin in the end. So yeah, we've not had a weekend where everything went according to plan. So it is too early to still say if Ferrari is back, if the upgrades have worked. We should wait for a couple more races and then see. A lot of questions about Ferrari and Charles Leclerc's spin specifically. The spin was purely Leclerc's doing. He lost grip. He was pushing hard on older tires. He also clipped the wall slightly and then the damaged suspension did not help. One of the questions that was asked a lot was if the 20-second penalty was very harsh. So let's look at all the infringements Leclerc did. Okay, he firstly drove erratically. Secondly, he cut corners and gained an advantage, and then he drove on the track with a broken car and put another driver's race, in this case George Russell's race, at risk. All of these put together, he should have gotten a 25-second penalty because 5 seconds for erratic driving, 10 seconds for corner cutting, and then broken car, another 10 seconds. Okay, but FIA in their official document penalized him only for one of the 3 infringements and gave him a 20-second penalty. I think Leclerc could have gotten a much worse penalty, but he didn't. So I think the 20 seconds was fair. Now we need to talk about the race winner, Kimi Antonelli. Now he's been breaking records left, right and center. He's holding the record which only Michael Schumacher and Ayrton Senna have, which is 3 consecutive poles, which are the first 3 poles ever in their career, converted to 3 consecutive wins. Now Kimi is having a dream run, but there are some facts that I need to talk about. Okay, Kimi won 3 races from pole, but yet he has never led lap 1. It has always been Ferrari or McLaren. Somehow he's managed to climb back up. In Japan, it was luck with the safety car. He was the last to pit and he got the advantage. This time it was also again not entirely him. He drove a decent race, but it was good strategy calls by Mercedes and the lack of counter from McLaren and Ferrari as well. Am I calling this race a lucky win? Listen, this race might not have been a lucky win, but you have to see the big picture. Every 19-year-old who has come into the sport, especially the likes of Russell, Alex Albon, even Max, Carlos Sainz, even Charles Leclerc, they all started off in a midfield team and then got promoted to a big team. There is always going to be that element of timing. Kimi is extremely fortunate to join the big team at the right time from the start. He's also had a very patient, pressure-free environment. Look at how Toto treats him. In contrast, let's look at Russell. After all that he has done, paying his dues in Williams, he has come to Mercedes. He has beaten a 7-time world champion twice, and still Toto did not give him a contract that was more than 1 year. Toto would still rather have Max in his team. So yeah, I think while Kimi is really talented as a driver, he has gotten so many things right that are out of his control. So he's gotten into a decent team. He's gotten a good pressure-free environment to show his skills very early in the career. So I do not want to disrespect any other driver or any of the GOATs by saying he's as good as Schumacher or Senna. We will wait and see. Let him win his first championship first at least. But yeah, that's like a little too much to say he is the greatest and all this early in the championship again. We still have other teams recovering and slowly climbing back up to give Mercedes some competition. So let's wait and see. But I do admit that it looks damn impressive for a 19-year-old. I was eating sand when I was 19 years old. This kid is like, finishing school and then coming back to win world championships, or on the way to win a world championship, extending the points lead again. We have Canada coming up, which is supposed to be George Russell's playground. So let us see if George is crumbling under pressure. But from where I am, seeing right now, I don't think the championship is that easily written off now. With McLaren coming back with the vengeance, I think the championship just got wide open. This is the last question that I want to discuss. 40 Fit in Sham asked, did you notice any boost to the harvesting time? This is if the changes made to the regulations have worked or not. A good question. Miami GP by design, the track by design, has always favored the current regulation. See, any track with a good number of curves and corners will give a lot of space for harvesting. So Miami being the ideal circuit for these regulations, we cannot say if these changes worked or not. We were going to have a great race either way. So we have to see if Canada also the regulations work well, and that is 3 more weeks away. We have to go back into hibernation for the next 2 weeks till the excitement is back. So after Canada, I think we have the 8 duo rules and the implications of who is getting to develop the engine again, all of that starting to kick in. So the season will get exciting. I know there is a lot more things we can discuss in the reels. Williams double points, Colapinto's highest point finish. Man was full of energy after meeting Messi, I think. But yeah, if we were to talk about everything, time will fly. I want to thank everyone who dropped a question on your IG. The support has been massive. Please like this video and share this with your friends. We are so close to hitting 5k subscribers. So hoping by the time we watch the next video on the channel, we are in 5k. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more discussions on more deeper, niche topics on the channel. So till then, thank you for watching. Take care.